Welcome back to Orange Nation Hour number 2. Number 4 on the synthesizer songs of all time, according to one Paulie Sibilia. Aha's Take on Me. I think you're agreeing with me on this so far.
I am. And this category has been a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
The 80s were completely synthesized.
Yeah. No, it's a good choice.
You're not going to like number 1, but you'll like the rest.
All right. With that, let's go to our guest line.
Number 1 in our hearts.
Yes, and as promised, pleased to be joined by Alan Griffin, SU assistant coach. Griff, always great to chat with you. How was your summer? It's the season's right around the corner here.
Yeah, it was good. The later part of the summers, we had our guys here. We had these guys here 6 to 8 weeks. I think it was 6 weeks. It was just a blur to me, but we had a good time, and it was a good time. We just worked and just getting to know this team, because obviously it's a whole new team, a whole new dynamic, and looking forward to it.
And that was a big reason we wanted to have you on today, was to talk about a brand new player. The announcement was made last week while we were on vacation that you've added Peter Mestorovic. Hope I'm saying his name right. Serbian from France. He's coming here. He's eligible to play right away. What can you tell us about him and his skill set and his game, and what SU fans should expect?
Yeah, I think what you get from Peter is another big body that can play the 4 and the 5, more so the 5 for us. Skilled, can step out, can rim protect a little bit. And the one thing that this kid is not coming over here to play second fiddle to nobody. He's coming in to playing and trying to play. I know there was some stuff out there, and there's some stuff on the internet just basically saying that this kid is just a fill a body and probably a redshirt candidate, which none of these guys have ever talked to any of us about this situation and or Peter's situation. To even just speculate that is just bad, because again, we got to deal with the agents and the parents and the brothers and everybody, and when falsely stuff is put out there like this. So again, Peter's gonna come here. He's looking to compete for minutes, and you know what? This is the great thing about our team this year, is just that it's gonna be a lot of competition, and we're looking forward to it.
Griff, we know how the recruiting process goes, in the United States. How do you find a player in a foreign country?
Well, a lot of it is, relationships. And obviously with us being able to deal with agents now, agents, contact us directly. Then you're able to, a lot of these kids over there play on national teams, so you can get the film right away. So, and that was the case with Peter. It's like we were able to see film on him. We were able to talk to people that have seen him with their own eyes, that we trust and we have relationships with. And it just, made sense for it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what was it about, this young man in particular that was the right fit for Syracuse? And frankly, what was it about Syracuse that was the right fit for him?
I think style of play. I think the way we're trying to play, you watch his film, he can step out, step away from the basket and do a lot of DHOs and be quick off of ball screens and catching traffic and make good plays and make skill plays. And I think that he loved the fact that we'll allow him to do that. Some schools will just say, hey, listen, stay on the box, and this is what you do, But, being able to expand this game is what he was looking for, and that was one of the things that we wanted to expand our team in terms of our bigger players being able to play on the perimeter more. So it was a match made in heaven.
It is our first chance to talk to you since some of the non-conference matchups have been announced. And, we had been hearing that Lemoyne was going to be a thing for a while now. Their former athletic director, Bob Beretta, kind of broke the news as he was leaving his job that you guys were going to play. But we just found out last week that it had been finalized. Can you, I guess, speak to the importance of playing the nearby schools, Lemoyne and Cornell and Colgate, and Syracuse has a history of doing that?
Definitely. And, obviously it started with, Coach Boeheim. And what people fail to realize, and especially in the media, they took that as taking shots at us because it was, we had a really good winning percentages against, those teams, right? And so it was everybody saying, oh, he's just building up, wins. And you know what? No, it was bigger than that, especially to Coach Boeheim, because if they knew how much Coach loved this area, upstate New York State, and how important it was for him to schedule those games and getting those kids into the dome and playing against some of the great players that we've had here. It just made it a great thing for, forget about the think about just our area in the greater upstate New York area, and it's just one of those things that we need to do, especially given the resources that we have, and sometimes they don't have the same resources that we have, and for them to come and play on that stage for that one night, it means the world to not just them, their families, their community, their universities, and it's something that we have to do, and we need to continue to do because it's important.
Griff, there's something we were talking about earlier with this roster. It looks like everybody on this team, well, most of the players, can play more than one position. Is that something you guys were trying to do when you were recruiting this team?
Yes, I mean, because it gives you more versatility, and and it's crazy you said that, Paulie. Like in practice, we were. Like last year, obviously we had to work through some stuff, so it's not just the players. When no one's blaming the players because we have to take responsibilities as well. We pigeonholed ourselves in making sure, like, these kids play. Okay, you are a 3-man, so you got to, Chris Bell, you got to stick to the 3. Judah, you are a 1, you got to stick to the 1. And so in certain situations when Adrian needed the versatility, it was tough for him to doing that because we had this kid play this one position all year. So now, especially over the summer, we kind of almost made it positionless because in certain situations, you can, foul trouble or whatever. Hey, Chris Bell, you might have to slide over to the 4. Depending on what happens, depending on anything. Or Chris Bell, you might have to slide up to the 2, right? So, like, if you made it positionless, the way we did it this summer was made a position. So now, when we get back, some of these guys know more than one position, so it just gives us that much more of an opportunity to play our best guys at different positions, and that can make us a dangerous team.
You mentioned Chris Bell there a couple times. How has his progression over the summer been? Last year he kind of, I don't think I'm saying anything else, he's kind of struggled to score off of the dribble, and is he been working on that?
Yeah, he's gotten better. This summer he was, Coach encouraged him to dribble more. Like we initiated the offense with Chris and put him in ball screens, and that's us developing him and him being willing to. And so Chris had a really, really good summer. Obviously, he's coming back. He's a little bigger, a little stronger, a lot more confident. It's just one of those things where I think Chris will really, really, really benefit from this team because our guys they know how deadly of a shooter he is, and you can see it already. JC coming in and he's looking to hit Chris and encouraging him, shoot it, and obviously Eddie said it best in his media when he signed here. He said, I want to play with the best 3-point shooter in the country. So, I mean, he'll benefit from this team. We're really excited about this team, fellas, because again, like, it's just, it's going to be a good team. I think last year's team had really good individual guys that were really, really special and really talented. But I just think that this year we got talent, but this is a really good team. And you're going to see that these guys are going to gel together, and hopefully we can do some big things.
That's great to hear. I know one player in particular that fans are really excited to see is Chance Westry, and we saw the reports out the last couple of weeks that he's been fully cleared. Can you speak to, I guess, what he's looked like and kind of where he is in his development in terms of getting back on the court after essentially 2 years away?
Hey, from at the beginning, when he was cleared to doing some stuff on the court, you kind of looked and you left as a staff, and we just kind of like looking at it like, man, we don't know if this kid will ever recover until the last 2 weeks, he looked like the chance in high school. Like, you know what I mean? That 4-star recruit, that was highly touted and highly recruited across the country. When he had his best week of workouts that last week, and I just think that he's feeling a lot more comfortable playing on, the knee. And kudos to our medical staff, Mike Mangano and Ryan Cabillas, who our strength and conditioning coach. They put so much time in with Chance, and it was a team effort, and they got him back to being as healthy as possible. And you can just see where Chance can really help this basketball team.
What position does he play? I know that's a silly question, but that's the biggest question we get. What position does Chance Westry play?
Chance can play 3 positions. He's big enough to defending and playing the 3, but obviously he's skilled enough to, being a facilitator at the 1, and he can play off the ball too. So I think he gives you a lot of versatility.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah. Now, when we're asked, we have the answer. Griff, there's another thing that came up during the show today we wanted to get your thoughts on, and that's in regards to the transfer portal. And there was, some stats out there that 40% of players that hit the portal are still in the portal. And the number's about 3,000 between Division I and Division II players. When you hear that, I guess what is your reaction, and what is the reason for that? Why there are so many guys still in the portal?
And you can take it both ways, and you can look at it both ways, and some guys leave certain situations thinking the grass is greener on the other side, and to be perfectly honest with you, it's not for certain cases. And I just think that some guys are being poorly informed in terms of, just because you scored 13 points at a Division II school, that don't mean that you should directly just put your name in the transfer portal and play, and you'll get a Division I situation. No, it's again in that case. But then there's certain situations where some kids do get under recruited, and they score that 13 points a game, and and then they get some advice that it might. They can play at this level, and it works out for them. So again, it's no exact science, but I do think that a lot of kids, and the reason why there's so many kids still make the transfer portal is that it's a lot of bad advice more so than good advice.
Griff, something else came up on our show earlier with NIL, and that was your name came up. How different do you think your path would have been through college if there was NIL when you played?
I say that all the time. I'm like, man, I wish I had to make some of this money. You know what I mean? But I'll be honest, fellas. I am appreciative and happy that I came up in the times that I came up, because it taught me a lot as a man, right? And as a kid, you got to go out there. And I'm not saying that NIL don't teach you how to be a man, right? But it like in certain cases, NIL would cloud my judgment, so to speak, if certain situations didn't work in my favor, So, but here when I came to school, I was put in a lot of situations, and by me working through it and fighting through, the times that I was here and some of the adversity and some of the adverse times that I went through here, it made me that much of a person, made me that much of a man, and I'm just happy that I was able to, go through that stuff. Excuse me. The one thing about NIL, which I do love, is that, coming from, the environment that I came from, I didn't have $20 to take my girlfriend out to a movie. I didn't have $20 to go hang out with some of my friends who had the means, right? So it gives our kids, and kids that struggled with, financially, a level playing field in terms of society, in terms of, what's going on. So now they can not have to worry about their next meal. Now it's about, they can be a regular student. They can be, they can take their girlfriend out to dinners, not $20 McDonald's dinners. It's, they can take it to a steak dinner. There's a lot of benefits to NIL.
Well said, Griff.
Let me give you one more thing, okay? And with NIL and the numbers will show, we got to give it time. Remember all those kids leaving school because of what? They needed to make money, for their financial situation. Now you got these kids staying in school because they are able to make more money or just as much money if they did leave. And that's going to help grow our college game, and it's helped growing our college game when you think about it. But it also does is that some of those kids that didn't get their education, now they're able to stick around long enough to get in their education. So there's bigger benefits to NIL. Everybody looking at the numbers that these kids are making, but it's bigger than that. And we have to take the good and the bad, and not just the bad and the perception of all these kids are making money. NIL was put in place to grow our game.
I got one more question for you, Griff. I saw a reel on Instagram of your highlights just recently, and you were pretty nice in high school. I didn't realize that.
Of course he was.
What other schools were coming after you, man? Like, because you were a state champ and out of Brooklyn and all this stuff I learned about you.
Paulie, you know what? I'll tell you the real story. I don't think it's made for radio, right? But I was a pretty good player, and I got recruited by a lot of Big East schools. Like, I was a Big East kid through and through. I had Big 12, Oklahoma State, all those places recruit me. But if I wouldn't have went to any place, it was going to be in the Big East, right? That's what I grown up looking at, guys like Derek Coleman, Sherman Douglas, Pearl, like that John Wallace, Lawrence, Adrian, who's one of my good friends. I was a Big East guy, and outside of our ACC. That's what I watch because, I could put myself in those shoes because I did it and I played it. So, I was a Big East guy. So most of the Big East was recruiting me.
I got a state champ. He's got a state. Do you have a state championship?
I don't.
I don't. You know what? I don't. We lost to Ron Artest.
Oh.
Was it the game? Yeah, Ron Artest. I think we lost to Ron in those times. No. We lost the game to playing Ron Artest. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But
I saw your high school highlights and I was like, damn, Griffin.
Yeah, of course he's good.
But he
ended up at Syracuse.
I know, I get that, but he has ups too. I don't know. My first year working at SU, Griff was still playing. That shows you how old I am. But he had ups and all that stuff. I forgot how good you were, Griff.
Yeah, you know what? If I wasn't that good, I wouldn't have been that serious. You would have never heard of Griff.
That's right. That's 100% true. It's always a pleasure catching up with you. Glad you were able to enjoy some of the summer. I know a lot of folks very excited about the season ahead. We can't wait to see you guys out there on the court. Until then, I'm sure we'll talk again soon, but be well, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon, Griff.
All right, definitely, folks.
All right, Alan Griffin joining us here on the program. And with that, we'll hit a timeout. Full lines now open the rest of the way. 315.
Did you lose to Ron Artest? That's a good question, Kevin.
I did not. Yes. No, that is a fair point. That is a fair point. I wasn't coming at him. I was coming at you about no state championship, not at Griff. 315-437-7644. We are back after this on ESPN.